Traveling in Africa, Wode Maya's experience, Aluva Jakata's experience, and my experience. This is what I'm going to be sharing with you today. And you need to stick until the end of this video as I'll be sharing what we need to do as Africans to stop this discrimination that we find ourselves in, the self-hate that we have as Africans. Hello and welcome to JCTV Africa. We look at issues that are happening around Africa. Today, I'm looking at what happened to Wode Maya a few days back when he wanted to fly into Harare, to Zimbabwe, to be expected. Zimbabwe, after trying for more than 4 times to get into the country. Yes, I've shared this experience on my previous video, so you need to go check out this video. The issue is, Wode Maya has shared a number of times where he has been harassed, a number of times where he has faced difficulty in African borders. And this paints a picture of what Africans have to go through and why it is difficult for people to explore Africa. Why is it difficult for people to go and experience how nice Africa is? I would want to go and see and climb Mount Kilimanjaro. I would like to go and be in and see the Maasai people. I would like to go to Namibia. All these places. There is a lot of Africans who need to explore their history, and it resonates with them when they do that. But traveling across Africa is extremely painful and difficult. Talk of Aluva Jakata, the soccer fan from Zimbabwe, and Botham Sila, who wanted to go to Egypt in 2019. They also had a torrid experience, and this forced Botham Sila to abandon the journey and go back home and have to fly to Egypt, which was the easiest way to do. However, this needs to change. I can also tell you I've traveled a few African countries with work, of course, and I'll tell you what happened to me in 2 countries. In Benin in 2012, at the airport, I was asked to pay $20, which was not receipted for, and up to now I don't even know what was that for. I had already applied for my visa, so there was no need for me to pay for anything. But I was just asked to pay $20, and there was no explanation given why that $20 was being taken away from me. So it means that it is very difficult, it's very challenging. I have heard of experiences of people that have gone to African countries and they are asked to pay a bribe, and that bribe is not explained, no receipt for that money. Sometimes people are asked to pay $20, $50, and that money just stays with the border patrol guards. I did not have the cameras to record all this, and I didn't have even the time for me to dispute what was happening. But what I can tell you is that was my first experience. My second experience was in Tanzania, in Arusha. I went there, I had cameras, and to my surprise, there was a white gentleman upon my arrival in Arusha. And this gentleman, I think he was from National Wild Geographic something. He had his cameras. He was never searched. He just went in and they never asked him anything. But because I was carrying recording equipment, he did not produce any permit whatsoever. But he just went in and they let him go. I was held in for over 30 minutes. And I was asked to produce this paper. I showed them the letter that we had already written to the authorities in Tanzania that we were coming with filming equipment, and there was a receipt to that effect, and the guy still demanded a bribe. The challenge that I had was that I don't have a phone by the SIM card in Tanzania for me to call the people that were waiting for me, but still they demanded a bribe. They wanted $50 and I had to pay it. And this is the experiences that cause or that deters people from traveling around Africa. What do we need to do as Africans? I think the Africa Continental Free Trade Area needs to be enacted, and we need to have free traveling across Africa without fear. This discrimination, this self-hate that we have towards each other, that each time you see an African holding a camera or trying to enter a country with recording equipment, you think that they are being sent by mercenaries or they are being sent by other people to paint a bad experience. But when it is a white man, they don't get asked. For me, it is self-hate, and we need to change that narrative. This also happened to African Tigress last year, and until that video went viral, nobody was ready to listen to her. Or had not been here speaking out about this, she was not going to be allowed entry into Zimbabwe. So my plea is not only for upon entry Zimbabwe, but upon entry into Botswana, upon entry into Namibia, upon entry into all these other countries. Look at what is happening. They are putting stringent measures in South Africa, not for Europeans. No, they are putting stringent measures for Zimbabweans. I think we need to have a one visa for Africa, or one African passport. Look at what is happening in Europe. You can travel from one country to the other without being asked. You can travel by train, but we don't have that in Africa, whereby you can travel from one country to the other using train, and you don't have to be stopped at the border and having to be searched and everything like that. I know we still don't have much resources, but let's use the ones that we have in order to promote a better Africa. This is what I'm pleading for. And to Wode Maya going to the African Union to probe this, and we need to have these conversations now. We need to have, as long as you have got your documentation, as long as you have got you are an African, you should not be denied entry. And also, we need to have one currency. That should happen now, so that I don't have to go to another country and have to change my currency. Horrendous times whenever you are flying into another country as an African. I think it is totally unacceptable. We need to change that narrative. And this is one of the voice that I'm adding onto the African leaders to say, let us change how we view each other in our African continent. This harassing that we are seeing YouTubers going through and travelers going through just because they're Africans should not happen. Yes, let's treat criminals as criminals, but if someone can really show you that they are a YouTuber and they are there for the causes, or they're a traveler, they are just staying in for travel, why harass them? If they've done or violated the law, let them be arrested in the country if they have violated the law. But let's not continue harassing each other. Let's make Africa trading, or Africa traveling, an experience of a lifetime, and let's circulate our monies around Africa. That is all that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Tell me what you think in the comment section, and please let's add our voices to make sure that traveling across Africa is easy. And I'm also concerned as a Zimbabwean that it paints a bad picture about my country, which is already tainted already. We don't want such bad publicity on our country when we have a big one already. We need to have better publicity. We see Africans being harassed on Australian TV. I think it's on other shows. We see them being harassed in any, but it is very, very embarrassing. It's very, very disheartening to see Africans being harassed in their continent. For me, it is uncalled for. Unless we change this, no one from anywhere is going to come and change our narrative in Africa. On that note, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, share this video with your family and friends, and I'll see you on the next episode.